One of the most quoted cases in tax law history is a decision by Judge Learned Hand of the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, who said the following: "Anyone may arrange his affairs so that his taxes shall be as low as possible. He is not bound to choose that pattern which best pays the Treasury. There is not even a patriotic duty to increase one's taxes. Over and over again, the courts have said that there is nothing sinister in so arranging affairs as to keep taxes as low as possible. Everyone does it, rich and poor alike, and all do right, for nobody owes any public duty to pay more than the law demands." What you're about to see in a few short minutes are several business owners who decided to follow the wise advice of Judge Learned Hand and utilize the vast experience of our tax attorneys to minimize their taxes within the bounds of the law.
When the analyst first came in to talk to us and shared with us the tax illustrations as far as what the capabilities of these folks could do for our small company, I was in total shock. I turned to our Chief Financial Officer and said, this truly is a holy grail moment, not only for us, but for small businesses throughout the country. We can now work with a team of professionals that can help save us money, which has only been afforded to larger corporations in the past with significant financial resource to do these types of things. Today we can do it with small business dollars, get the job done, which enables us to not only sustain ourselves, but grow significantly in the future.
The reason I contacted your company, at the end of the year I was presented with a several $100,000 tax bill from my accountant. I then realized that my tax accountant was way over his head. So I contacted your tax specialists within your company. They came out, analyzed my books, and realized that my accountant wasn't taking certain tax deductions and tax benefits for production and manufacturing for an excavation company, along with several other tax benefits that pretty much wiped out the tax debt that he said that I owed. Another thing that my accountant did wrong is he miscategorized certain transactions as retail instead of wholesale, costing me on the average of $10,000 a month that I did not owe.
As you can probably tell, we had to do a lot of research and development to design these electronic instruments. And my CPA in particular, reviewing our taxes, never really took advantage of what we call an R&D tax credit. They said it was too much hassle. But the tax attorneys that I brought in specifically, it was like having an all-star team. There was over 10 of them that reviewed it and said, no, we will help you set up a complete R&D tax credit. And they went back and filed previous year's taxes, and we were able to get refunds of tens of thousands of dollars on previous tax returns that will continue on. And that money allows us to hire more engineers to develop new products.
One of the many things we found out through the consultants was that there's over 80,000 laws in the IRS system, and no one certified public accountant knows them all. Thereby bringing in, not only helping correct our accounting system, they also brought in some tax consultants that helped us to identify some deductions and credits that we was missing on our tax forms, thereby collecting tens of thousands of dollars in returns.
So when the tax guys showed up, we started talking about how you save money on taxes. One way is you play in the gray areas, which invites a tax audit. And the other way is you do black and white things that you might be unaware of. For example, meal credits if you work over 8 hours a day, and board meeting credits if you have meetings in your house. R&D credits, which in my case added up to about $80,000 I wasn't aware of, and now I am. So when we began to talk in detail, it was pointed out that accountants and lawyers do what they do every day, but they don't do what we do. And they're just not knowledgeable of all these things. So you may have to get a new accountant, or you may can use your own accountant to implement these strategies as long as they can think innovatively with you. I decided to engage my accountant, and she was actually energized by the concept, and it's been a good thing. It also helped and simplified the refiling of the previous tax years because she filed them for the last 3 years. So it was a good thing.
At one point we brought Kimberly Mariani in. She's a tax attorney for the company, and she set us up with a whole tax plan, and she saved us over $100,000 with her plan. She also did an asset protection plan, which keeps my company safe in case something was to happen. Kimberly's great to work with. She's very intelligent and she's really, really a nice lady.
Our tax advisor Julius had came in and he had talked to us about cost segregation, which is an accelerated depreciation. And so that is something we implemented. We got a tax saving of $70,000 by just doing that. And we would not have known about that if we just relied on our normal CPA. And as well, while Julius was here, he talked to us about our asset protection, and our trucks make us our money, that asset. And so there's layers of protection that we can do, so if an accident does happen, that we don't lose our business that we have worked so hard on building up.
So Tavis came in with a plan to take one company and separate it out. They helped us with our asset protection by taking the leasing company and setting it up as just nothing but lease, and then a holding company for equipment that owns all of the equipment, and then another company for our real estate assets, and it has greatly protected us. So I wasn't really sure if Tavis could really bring anything to the table for me. I've got a great CPA and 19 years in business, thinking, you know, what else is there to know? And boy, was I surprised. They brought back some things to me that in the first year will save me probably a little over $100,000, and over the next 5 to 6 years, around $700,000 or $800,000. So Tavis really had ideas and things that were not knowledgeable to me or to my CPA, and they worked hand in hand together, and it was really a great savings for me. One of the most important bits of information that we received from Tavis was about exit strategy. Being at the age me and my partner Jim are at, we were thinking about what are we going to do in the next 10 years. We're not ready to quit yet, but they were giving us options about if we don't do something today, we will pay dearly 10 or 15 years from now. We're thinking about whether that's going to be a second generation takeover or whether we sell it outright. If we don't start planning today, it will cost us dearly down the road.
One of the things James did was he brought in a tax attorney. He was immediately able to save me over $80,000 by showing me things that my own CPA was not aware of.
One of the benefits of our reorganization is that we now have a CFO. One of the obligations of the CFO was to take a serious look at our tax obligations. So the CFO reviewed our previous bookkeeper's work, and then we ended up having to call Tavis. Tavis came in and looked at what had happened in the past, married that with our current financial records that had been cleaned up by the consultant, only to find that our tax obligation was reduced by $500,000 based upon this review.
One of the other things that your firm also did, well, Ted, we got them going, and I had a gut feeling that my books weren't correct for the first year or so. So I asked them to go back and revisit the 2019 books. Well, come to find out that there was an error, several errors actually. There was some bank transfers that were considered sales instead of an actual bank transfer, and which all of a sudden in 2019 we recovered $300,000, and for 2020 $150,000. And that's all due because of a CPA that just kind of rushed things and said, okay, stamp, good, and go.
In the process of using your consulting firm, we were able to find another need, which was Tavis and the tax services. We hired Tito to come in and take a look at our books and see where we could save some more money or where some money was being lost. Tito was able to identify some items that our previous CPA could not find and did not know how to find. They then refiled those credits and deductions properly and was able to save us and capture $500,000.
David Thompson owns a drywall company, but when it came to saving money on his taxes, David realized he would benefit by using our tax experts in Tavis rather than his local CPA.
My name is David Thompson, president of Thompson Drywall. We're a family-run company. Been in business for 43 years. We used your company to save $130,000 in 1 year. We would have never been able to do that with our current CPA.
Another thing we did, we brought in one of your tax experts. We went from 1 entity to 5 for asset protection, and at the end of the day, saved over $100,000 in taxes.
Now, we recognize at this point that having a nationally known company involved with our company was going to be of benefit for us, and we did realize significant tax savings. With the tax savings, we were able to purchase this press brake, which not only allowed us to clear up our backlog, it makes us more productive and more competitive, which at the end of the day, of course, puts more money in our pocket.
Before Kimberly arrived, we were focused on the day-to-day operations, meeting deadlines, getting parts out the door, and really the business was running us instead of us running the business. But after their team came and we implemented their suggestions, we have peace of mind now.
We feel confident about the future of our business.
Philip, why don't you tell us a little bit about your company and why you decided to bring Tavis into your business?
We're a locally owned refuse hauling company, and we were very concerned about liabilities in our business, and we wanted to save on taxes, so we brought in Tavis. We have large garbage trucks. There's always a possibility of an accident happening, so we brought in Tavis to protect us through multiple entities so that if we do get sued, we have protection. Tavis found that our CPAs had misclassified money and that they had missed deductions, and now we have Tavis to guide us in the future. The total savings working with Tavis will be over $100,000. Now that we're working with Tavis, we know that our filings in the future will be done correctly. We have confidence that we can retire and continue to own our business.
So whether we're in Alaska or on our boat in the Sea of Cortez in Mexico, we have confidence that our business will continue to run without us.